Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're just going to hold on for a few seconds as I see people entering the room. Just give us a couple of, a few seconds and we'll start. Okay. Think we're good to go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Canadian Immigrant Web Conference Series we're organizing in partnership with ACCESS Employment. So this industry-specific web conference for internationally educated professionals looking to start their own business in Canada is 90 minutes. We have 3 great speakers lined up for you. And if, for some reason you have to leave early, this is being recorded and will be posted on our website for you to watch. And, I encourage you to share it with all your friends who are interested in the subject. So just before we get started, 2 things. One, let me introduce myself. I'm Ramya Ramanathan, the editor of Canadian Immigrant magazine. And I'm with my colleague, Laura Jackman, who handles marketing. So yes, and the second thing, before we get started, we just want to share a short video from one of our sponsors. So Laura will be playing that video for you right now.
Jasmine, it's your brother here. I'm sending a little money home to help that dream of yours become a reality.
When you send money, you send more than money. Western Union.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you to our sponsor, Western Union. So let's get started. I'm thrilled to introduce our first speaker for today. From ACCESS Employment, we have Catherine Wilding, manager of the Entrepreneurship Connections program. Hi, Catherine. It's a pleasure to have you here. And before Catherine takes over, if you have any questions, please type it in the chat box or the Q&A button, or even send us an email at info@canadianimmigrant.ca. You can do it during or after the presentation. So, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ramya, and thank you, Laura, for organizing. Thrilled to be here today. So I have a hopefully not too long presentation to go over really an overview of starting a business in Canada, and hope to, with this presentation, to give you ideas, tips, resources, and also encourage you to join our entrepreneurship programs at ACCESS Employment. So if we're good to go, I'll share my screen if that's okay. Yeah. And here we go. Just give me a moment, and I'm going to get to the top. And into presenter mode. How's that look? Good, hopefully good.
Yes, good.
No,
Excellent.
yes. Sorry, I'm not where I needed to be. Here I am. Okay, and I'm going to presenter view. What I'm trying to do is presenter view. There we go. Okay, does that still look nice and clear for everyone?
Yes, it looks great.
Okay, great. So getting to it, starting a business in Canada. Thank you, Ramya, for introducing me. My name is Catherine Wilding. I'm the manager of the Entrepreneurship Connections programs at ACCESS, and thrilled to, as I said, give you an overview of starting a business in Canada, some tips, resources to follow up on, to pursue on your own, and also hopefully to encourage you to join the entrepreneurship programs at ACCESS. Also, I want to do just a brief little advertisement, and I know you can't really see this flyer that well, but one of the most important things we do in our entrepreneurship program is invite guest speakers, subject matter experts to talk to you about entrepreneurship in Canada. And we do have a speaker series we're organizing in October for Small Business Week in October. I will put the links to register for these in the chat a little later in the presentation. But so far we have 3 events confirmed. The first one is Small Towns Mean Business. So the resources and supports for you if you think of starting a business in a small town. The second one will be supports for BIPOC and women entrepreneurs, of which there are many. Perhaps Audrey will be getting to that later in her presentation. Supports for startup entrepreneurs. And the third one, protecting your small business from risk, which will have speakers talking about insuring your business and also protecting your intellectual property of your startup business. Okay, so with that said, that little brief advertisement, I'll go on and to just briefly mention about ACCESS Employment. We're an organization that has been around for over 30 years, started as a very small 5-person team working in the basement of a church, and we've now grown to have 7 locations across the Greater Toronto region. And our work is to connect you with the labor market. And in this case, that labor market includes self-employment. So we are an organization that works with over 40,000 people every year. Since the beginning of our Entrepreneurship Connections program, we have worked with over 1,000 entrepreneurs who are in the country. And with our pre-arrival entrepreneurship program, which I'll explain a little bit later, we have supported, again, 1,000 people to learn about entrepreneurship in Canada. So what I am going to go over with you today is some of the main key points to consider when you are thinking of starting a business in Canada. And I'll close with some information about the entrepreneurship programs at ACCESS and invite you to join us in our next session. So the first thing, I need to move this, I guess. I don't need to see myself talking. So just to get started, when it comes to exploring entrepreneurship, we first need to consider, you need to ask yourself, are you ready? And when we think about that, there's 2 main considerations. First and foremost, your own personal attributes and readiness to start a business. And then secondly, to explore the business idea that you're considering and to test its viability. So first, let's talk about personal readiness. When we think of the key attributes of a successful entrepreneur, you want to explore your own goals, your desires for becoming an entrepreneur, but also want to consider, do you have any business experience? What are the pros and cons of running your own business? Are you motivated to put in the time to establish your business? And how do you respond to setbacks, objections, people saying no? Can you pitch yourself? Can you pitch your business? So those are some things to consider. And to take that one step further, there are many resources online, which I will be referring to during this presentation. But I would direct you to Business Development Bank of Canada. And it is, for those of you who are not familiar with it, Business Development Bank of Canada is Canada's only bank devoted entirely to supporting entrepreneurs. And they've been a sponsor and a support of our entrepreneurship programs at ACCESS. I know that they collaborate with many entrepreneur startup and accelerator organizations across the country, including Futurpreneur, where they often match funding, offer funding and supports. So they're a great resource for you to pursue your self-assessment of entrepreneurship. And on their website, they have under their articles and tools drop down, they have an entrepreneur's toolkit, which includes an entrepreneurship self-assessment, which is just for you to go through and get some feedback on your own personal, your motivations to pursue entrepreneurship, your own aptitudes, your attitudes, your mindset, and to get some feedback on if it's a good fit for you. So then, now we want to talk about business viability, and this is exploring your business idea to determine that there's a market out there. So first, researching who is my ideal customer? Have you ever sold this product or service? What are the competitors out there? Do the research in the marketplace to see who's already selling this or a similar product, and what trends might affect your market. Is there seasonality to it? Is there something trendy about your product that you would have to keep an eye on the trends in the marketplace? So then you want to think about the resources that you need to bring to the table to launch your business. You want to think about money, first of all. What are your startup costs? And I will get to this more of an explanation later. But would you pursue self-financing, which is often called bootstrapping, or would you need to explore other financial supports? We'll come back to this later. Also, you want to think about timing. What would be your timeline for launching your business? Do you have the time to devote to exploring this, doing the research and everything in advance? And as well, what are the supports you have in your network? What would be potential customers, potential partners that you could collaborate with, and consider that as you're setting out. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, and certainly the more contacts, supports, advisors, mentors that you can acquire along the way will support the success of your business. And before we move on, just thinking about the skills and experience, the life experience that you bring to the table in order to pursue this entrepreneurship journey. Do you have the experience to successfully launch your business idea? Do you have the ability, the knowledge, the industry experience? Experience often dictates the ease of the success of the business, which is not to say that you need to be able to operate every single aspect of your business, but you can imagine that someone who has experience in the restaurant industry as a chef or a restaurant manager likely would have a greater chance of success in starting a catering business than, for example, somebody whose background is as a software engineer. Just so consider your industry experience. So now we've explored that and pondered some of the readiness questions. We want to now explore the steps to launching a business by discussing how you would start writing a business plan. Is this something you've never heard of? Never heard of a business plan? Well, I am here to tell you it's absolutely essential and necessary. And in our program that we deliver, it is one of the main takeaways that we help people to create a business plan by the time they finish our program. So if you consider your business plan as the roadmap of your business goals, it will contain all of the research that you've done, and the formation of the business plan really will force you to do this research about your market and how you're going to operate the business. And studies have shown that a business plan increases the chance of business success. You could consider a business plan as something like a GPS in your car, that as you're driving along and making adjustments and changes and turns in the road, that the GPS is constantly recalibrating and guiding you to get to your destination. So we're just briefly going to have a look at some of the key sections of a business plan. And I think in the next slide, I've got some links to show you where you can find business plan templates online. So you're certainly not expected to come up with this all on your own. There are templates out there to guide you. But the main things that you want to consider are the executive summary, which is for if you were perhaps putting this business plan in front of somebody to ask them for financing, a financial institution or a bank, for example. you need to have a summary, which we call the executive summary, which maybe in one page would just summarize everything and bring everything together. And maybe it doesn't make sense, but to think that you would actually do your executive summary last. So you first roll out and pull all of your information into your business plan, and then go back over that and pull out the key points to put in a summary to capture someone's interest and demonstrate to them that that you've done the research and you have a good business plan. Then the company summary would encapsulate everything from the type of business, the history, the products, services, where you would locate your business and the facilities, and also the pain point or the need in the marketplace that you are trying to answer and provide something unique in the marketplace. Products obviously would be a description of your products and the benefits of your product or service. Market analysis summary, this is where you would pull everything together in terms of the research you've done out in the marketplace of your competitors, knowing who's out there, who would be your potential customers, what is the demographic, how large is that target market, and would also conclude a SWOT and pest analysis. And I think we've perhaps all heard of the a SWOT analysis, which of course is the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats to your business idea. But a pest analysis would also include the political, economic, sociological, or technological factors that also might influence your industry and marketing your product or service. You would also want to include your implementation, or what you might call your operations, or your operations strategy for your business plan. And that would clearly lay out how you plan to execute on a customer order from not only start to finish or sale, attracting a customer through to sales, but also post-sales. What would be your customer service for a customer return or an unhappy customer? What would be the whole operation of that entire process? And lastly, most importantly, you cannot avoid the finances. You need to demonstrate in your business plan that you have the financial, maybe income statements for if you've been in business for a couple of years, but the cash flow, sales projections to demonstrate that you have that market and potential to sell your product or service. So I think I've sort of covered all of this, and as I promised, here are just some indications of some online business plans also offered by Futurpreneur. Has an amazing business plan, interactive business plan builder, and Canadian Business Network also offers some as well. Now that we've talked about all of that, let's just briefly look at registering your business. So when it comes to registering your business, you do not necessarily have to register your business with the government right away. Sometimes people start off as a small business, but you do want to consider registering your business because this will enable you to track your sales, and when the day comes that you're wanting to, for taxation purposes, as a responsible business owner, submitting taxes to the government on behalf of your business, you would want to have your business registered. Another consideration is how large do you think your business might be? If you anticipate that you will always be self-employed, sole proprietor, or perhaps maybe a partnership, that is perhaps a more easy and straightforward way to register your business. But, something to consider is that if you do fully incorporate your business, you do have some protection in that the incorporated business is then a separate entity, and you are less likely to be associated with the risk of the business. If you are a sole proprietor, you and the business are not inseparable, and so there is some liability there. For more information on registering your business, the Government of Canada has that website there. So now let's talk about the most important thing for a successful business is to find customers. So when it comes to finding and reaching out to your customers, you want to start by thinking first about who your ideal customer is. Don't make the mistake of assuming that everybody would potentially be your customer. It could be that anyone might purchase your product or service, but you want to think of that 80-20 rule, that the majority of your sales will come from one specific demographic group. So to do that research to determine that, for example, females between 25 and 40 would be most inclined to purchase your bath salts and bubble bath soaps business that you're launching, as an example. So you want to then develop a profile of your ideal customer and know their problems, the pain point that you are solving for them, how they buy, when they buy, where they would buy, where they spend their time looking for products and services. And that becomes part of something you would include in your business plan. To find your customer, to research and know who your customer is, you would do well to either connect with the Toronto Public Library, or in fact, any municipal library always has a section for small business owners and business resources, access to Statistics Canada, demographics, databases, resources like Scott's Info, which you're maybe not familiar with if you haven't encountered it, but organizations like that have, they make it is their business to research and know where and when and how to find customers and potential clients. And then once now you know who your customer is, you can build a go-to-market strategy by thinking about where your customers spend their time. As I said, so when you're developing your marketing, you need to know what media they consume. Where are they? Where are they buying? Online, offline, in person? Do they spend their time on Instagram, Facebook? Where is your product or service best placed, and your marketing time spent to reach out to people in the place where they already are? So at this point, I know it's been quick and an overview, but if we've talked about planning a business and how to reach customers, we also want to talk about how to fund your business. So that is our next section. And you'll be interested to know that the average Canadian business actually starts with $5,000 or less. Depending on the nature of your business, that of course influences your startup costs, but it is good to know that the majority of business owners often don't seek financing when they're first starting out, because they start small, they gradually grow their business. And during that small time, that 2 to 5 years when they're just launching their business. However, to take your business to the next level may require financing. And that's when you need to look into some other options. So depending on the nature of your business, if you are an e-commerce online business, that of course has lower startup costs than, for example, if you're a tech business or a business that requires in-person, so renting or owning a building and purchasing a large machinery or things like that you might need for your business. So to think of sources of financing, as I said, most small businesses in Canada start off by being self-financed, as I said, what we're called bootstrapping. Another way to start finance your business early on might be leaning on friends and family and seeing if they can loan some money. And then what I really want to talk to you about are perhaps financial institutions and those who provide small startup loans for businesses that are starting out, and I'll briefly cover beyond that, larger investors. So what are called micro lenders in Canada might offer up to $20,000 or $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 based on your needs, and might be more likely to provide a loan if you don't have that established credit history. They have an application process, they get to know you, and it is their motivation to support low-income entrepreneurs. So some of the ones I'm mentioning here, ACCESS Community Capital Fund, that first link, is affiliated with Alterna Finance, the second link there, and they offer low-income loans. Futurpreneur also offer loans, and to special interest groups, they're motivated to support BIPOC, women, newcomer, as an example, and also youth entrepreneurs as well. And I think in the next screen, to talk a little bit about other sources of financing. I already mentioned Business Development Bank of Canada, who has a mandate to support small business. And these are some that you might consider if a retail, Canada's 5 banks, of course, they loan and support, they offer loans and supports to small business, but if they're not as supportive as these ones are more inclined to offer small income loans. So beyond that, if you've launched your business, you've grown your business, and now you're ready to scale up, then we would look at larger investors. I don't know if that's really the focus of our conversation here today, but angel investors get involved in your business, perhaps as silent partners, and take some equity in exchange for their financial investment. And then venture capital or taking your business public, that of course is a whole other realm, but you might sell shares in your business, but that might be down the road for anybody listening today. So we'll move on. And just to think about minimizing your startup costs and to make sure that you've tested your product before you launch, so that you're getting feedback from people before you make this huge investment, and often by getting feedback from not just friends and family who want to support you and see you do well, but to approach others who will give you some genuine, honest feedback and maybe tell you that you need to tweak your product or service a little bit before going to market. It's really time well spent and will save you money and time in the long run. Also to think about perhaps renting equipment rather than purchasing $50,000 worth of equipment, renting a building rather than purchasing a building. Think about things like that. Maybe sharing office spaces, pursuing incubators and accelerators that again might have shared space and mentoring to support you as you're launching your business. And with that, I would say to think that money, of course, money to finance your business is so important, but money is not what grows a business, it's the customers. And so to really spend the time on researching and marketing to your customers. And, in these days, we think of an e-commerce business that if you launch a website or Instagram site, that the sales will come to you automatically. So don't just rely on that. You're still launching a business, and you need to get out and door knock and get out there and pitch your business and grow a relationship with your customers. I've just got one slide here that shows some of the resources that I've mentioned. Toronto Public Library, Enterprise Toronto is the City of Toronto support for small business. Futurpreneur we've mentioned, and I think you're going to perhaps hear more from them later. BizPal, for example, is the Government of Canada site for small business owners, and other organizations are out there providing specialized support to special interests, small business startups. So now, if I could just briefly tell you a little bit about the entrepreneurship programs at ACCESS. And I really do want to keep this brief. So just on a couple of slides here to say that we have 2 programs at ACCESS Employment to support entrepreneurs. The first one is Entrepreneurship Connections Pre-Arrival, and that is a program for newcomers who are on their way to Canada but still living outside of Canada, haven't yet come. But by enrolling in our pre-arrival program, you can access resources, information, e-modules, have access to a business consultant to get some feedback on your business plan. And when you are planning to arrive, depending on where you're landing in the country, we can direct you to the entrepreneurship supports in that municipality, town, or city. So that's a program, a national program for you, no matter where you're landing in Canada. And then the second program is Entrepreneurship Connections, and that's for permanent residents who've landed in the Greater Toronto Region. This, of course, was an in-person program. It's been delivered online for the last 2.5 years, which, as a positive note, it has enabled people to enroll in our program who otherwise might not be able to travel downtown to be in person in our program, including women with small children at home, parents, caregivers, people who, as I said, live outside of the Greater Toronto area. So the Entrepreneurship Connections program is a 4-week, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4 cohort, where you would be with 15 or 16 other startup businesses, learning about their businesses, sharing resources with one another. And then we have subject matter experts who are coming in to talk to you about all of these topics that we've talked about to this point. Determining your target client, your market, doing your market research, who are your competitors, the operations of your business, financing, the legal aspects of starting a business, and then the operations of your business, how would you run your business, the financials, preparing a marketing plan, cash flow, sales forecast, all of those things. And then in the last few years, we've added more and more information about digital marketing and social media marketing so that you can take your business online. And really the 2 main deliverables from this program is that at the end of 4 weeks, you will have a draft of the business plan, which we've discussed already, and you'll be able to, you will have pitched your business to a panel of judges, receive some feedback, and that will help you prepare so that whether you're meeting people and pitching your business in 30 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you've got, you've practiced that. So you're able to pitch your business. Both programs are intended for permanent residents. So for the pre-arrival program, permanent residents, we require your UCI number, your unique client indicator number. For the Entrepreneurship Connections program, for those who are landed, we take permanent residents, protected persons, refugees, and Canadian, Ukrainian assistance for emergency travel permit holders. We take those into our program as well. And for the Entrepreneurship Connections in person, as I said, it's intended for people who are in the Toronto region. The Entrepreneurship Connections pre-arrival program is for those who are currently living outside Canada. So 2 separate programs. And in both cases, we ask you for your language scores. And if you can provide us with that basically is the eligibility for the program. And we want to hear about your business idea. So coming to the end of the presentation, I have a slide here with a link to our website and more information about both of our entrepreneurship programs. Laura was going to put some of these things in the link. I can't see it, but I see a lot of things in the chat. So I think perhaps Laura is putting the link into the chat, or I can do so afterwards. My contact information, again, my name is Catherine Wilding. I'm the manager of the entrepreneurship program. So you can take my email and contact me directly. And whether it's the pre-arrival program or more information about our other entrepreneurship program, I would love to hear from anybody today. And I think that brings me to the end, and I will stop sharing.
Okay, Catherine, thank you so much. Excellent presentation, fabulous, great information. I think we have a lot of questions that have come in. Catherine just shared her email, so please send it to her directly if we don't get it to her now. So I'm going to shoot a few questions to you. So first, you mentioned okay, you talked about the Entrepreneurship Connections program. Is that digital, in person, or online? The 4-week program.
Yes, it is currently online. We've had a
Okay.
Zoom, a Zoom classroom, and we try as best as we can to create that connection for people. But yeah, it's currently online. We're hoping that in the months to come, we might have some aspect of that in person. But as I said, it's been a great advantage for people to be able to take the program online. I should have also mentioned both programs are free.
Okay, that's amazing. So you've answered this already, actually. So the question is, can someone on a work permit start a business in Canada? Do they have to wait? And I think you've said you have to have a status, right? Is that what you said?
In order to join our program, we need you to be a permanent resident. In order to start a business in Canada, again, it depends. I should say officially, of course, you should register your business with the government, but in fact, many people start their business as a small side hustle and they don't necessarily formally register it.
Okay.
I have heard people say that once your business takes off, to go from just making a few thousand to then being a profitable business, there is that benchmark that once you've earned over 35,000, you would be expected to have your business registered and to pay taxes for that business as a separate entity, and that from 0 to 35, sometimes that happens very quickly. So I've heard business owners say you should register your business regardless of what your revenues are right off. So it is kind of a gray area, but yes, anybody can of course start a business.
Okay. And what would you estimate is the average time of starting a business in your experience?
So let's just clarify in terms of the ideation and the preparation going into it before you launch.
I think they mean from start to finish, get idea to launch. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a tough one because of course it depends on how much time you have to research. But let's just say the more time you can put into researching, you're going to save yourself time and money in the long run. And that said, you also don't want to get into that paralysis analysis. I think people use that phrase that you don't want to spend so much time planning that you don't actually launch. So hard to say.
Okay. And the next one is, to confirm, sole proprietorship and partnership had liability on owners, but corporations do not, correct? Yes.
Yeah. So if you're a sole proprietor, you and your business are the same entity. So if you are considering, if you're launching a business, if you're launching an e-commerce business selling pillows, pretty low risk. If you're considering launching a business that is food related, restaurant, cafe, if you're with children, if you're in a regulated field, then of course you need to consider your personal risk. So you might consider talking to a lawyer about liability insurance. And if you're incorporated, then the two are separate. So that's my
okay, great. Okay, and then is there an age limit for these?
Our program is open.
Open.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Our criteria is just that we're funded by Immigration, Refugees, Citizenship Canada, and so as such, we can only deliver our program to permanent residents and protected persons. And as I said, that also now includes Ukrainian work permit holders.
Okay, great. I'm going to sneak in a question from me. I want to start a nonprofit. Can I still, access your resources? I mean, it's a business, but it's just a nonprofit.
Right. Yep. And it just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean you shouldn't still do the research and determine that there's a need for your business. So yes, we've had clients go through our program that are launching nonprofits.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. And thank you for answering all the questions. I just, shot you there.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
So,
the opportunity.
yeah, thank you. So this is being recorded because I see a lot of questions about, can you repeat this or that? So this is being recorded. So next up, we have Audrey Marinelli. So Audrey is the Business Development Manager, Black entrepreneurs in Ontario, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and the North at Futurpreneur. And Catherine's just mentioned Futurpreneur in a lot of her slides. So, so if you have any questions, type them in the Q&A or the chat box. And you can also email us at info@canadianimmigrant.ca. And I'm sure Audrey's going to share a contact email or some information as well. So Audrey, thank you so much. And please go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone because I was an immigrant as well a decade ago, and I started reading your magazine. So it's a really like a pleasure for me to now present and being able to share some resources here. So the next slide. Again, so today I'm going to share a bit about our program at Futurpreneur. But before I do that, I just want to do a land of acknowledgement. So as a national organization, Futurpreneur honors and acknowledges the traditional and ancestral territories of First Nations, Métis, Inuit peoples across the country. And we recognize the diversity of Indigenous people and communities coast to coast, including over 600 First Nations communities, 4 Inuit Nunangat regions comprised of 53 Inuit communities, Métis nations, settlements, and regions, treaties 111, 25 modern treaties, and all unceded territories. We also respect the history and current relationship Indigenous peoples have to the land on which we reside. And we also are committed to collaborating and establishing respectful relationships with Indigenous peoples by striving to practice reconciliations in our everyday lives, communities, and workplaces. And lastly, we encourage you to take part in learning the local Indigenous history of the land on which we reside. Now, let me talk a bit about Futurpreneur. So Futurpreneur is the Canada's only national nonprofit organization dedicated to provide financing, mentoring, and business resources to help aspiring diverse entrepreneurs aged 18 to 39. And I want to share a bit of our impact in our next slide. We have helped more than 15,000 young entrepreneurs across the country, over 12,000 businesses in every province and territories. And a bit of stats here, 43% of supporting businesses are women-led. And another stat I want to share with you is that 81% says Futurpreneur had a positive impact on their success. So now I'm going to share a bit about our different programs. And I'm going to start with the Core Startup Program. With the Core Startup Program, if you apply for this program, you can get up to $60,000 in unsecured loan. And on top of this, you get 2 years of hand match mentorship. You also get some support from Entrepreneur in Residence before you apply for the program. And you also get access to specialized Futurpreneur opportunities. So that's about the Core Startup Program. Now, let's say you're like a new immigrant, you arrived like within the last 5 years and you don't have any credit history, and that can happen. We do offer up to $12,500 with Futurpreneur and up to $12,500 with BDC because we have a partnership with BDC. Because we want to give the opportunity for everyone to access some financing. I'm sorry for the noise behind me. I'm outside in Edmonton, so it's a bit loud here. So that's about the Core Startup Program. Let me talk about the Black Entrepreneur Startup Program, which we launched last year. And as you can see here, actually, this entrepreneur, Sean Raymond, I just came from his training a few minutes ago before coming here. He's based in Edmonton, and he was the first entrepreneur receiving the loans through this program last year. So we started this program because we noticed that the Black entrepreneurs are facing a lot of barriers, especially around credit, and we wanted to give support from this community. So through this program, they will connect with a business development manager who has lived experience, and I'm part of this team. And we do provide up to 60,000 in unsecured loan. So that will be a 40,000 from Futurpreneur and up to 20,000 with BDC, our partners. We offer 2 years of hand-matched mentorship as well. And they receive support from an entrepreneur in residence who also have lived experience. They will receive access to specialized Futurpreneur opportunity. And on top of, compared to the other program, they will receive a follow-on financing if they would like to. So after 2 years in the program, you can receive up to 40,000 in loan financing. I want to mention that this program is funded by RBC. And again, we have a partnership with BDC for the loans. So I just mentioned about the core startup program. I just mentioned about the Black Entrepreneur Startup Program. We do have also an Indigenous Entrepreneur Startup Program. And same thing, almost the same thing as the Black Entrepreneur Startup Program. If you consider yourself as an Indigenous from Canada, you can be part of this program and be connected with a business development manager who also have lived experience. Through this program, you can receive up to 60,000 in unsecured loan, 2 years of hand-matched mentorship, support from an entrepreneur in residence who also have lived experience, and access to specialized Futurpreneur opportunities. I want to mention that regarding all those programs, we offer those programs across the country. Now, the last program I want to mention about is the Side Hustle program, where you can receive up to 15,000 in loan financing. You have to keep in mind that to access to this program, you have no intention of becoming full-time within the next 12 months. And you will need to demonstrate a full-time sustainable income outside of the side business. Again, through all of our program, you get some mentorship, and so you get 2 years of mentorship. Now, maybe the question you have, what's the eligibility criteria for all those programs? So as I mentioned earlier, Futurpreneur is supporting young entrepreneurs who are between the age of 18 and 39. You need to be Canadian citizen or permanent resident in Canada. If you're currently a student, you need to be in your final year of studies full-time. If you're a part-time student, it works. And if you're currently in the research and development stage, well, you need to provide a prototype of your product, because unfortunately, we don't finance anything in research and development. Regarding the operation, you need to be in less than 12 months of full-time operation. And you need also to be willing to work with a mentor for a period of 2 years. Last thing, it's very important as well, you need to produce a business plan and cash flow projections. I know that Catherine mentioned about a lot of resources. We do have some resources as well, but that will be required to apply for this program. I want to share here a bit some testimonial. I know probably you know about this, this program. Actually, Joanna Griffin, she went through our program. She's the founder of Nix and the CEO of this company. Let me talk about the support you can receive from Futurpreneur. We do offer some webinars. Actually, we had 3 webinars this week. We do offer Rock My Business series every 2 months. And through this webinar series, you get the opportunity to connect with other entrepreneurs, but also to learn more about how to develop your business idea, how to provide a viable business plan, and develop your cash flow projections. If you want to register for those webinars, you just need to go online. As you can see here on the slides, it's at futurpreneur.ca/rockmybusiness. Those webinars are offered like every 2 months, and it's about like 3 hours. I want to mention as well that those webinars are free. Here again, some testimonial from a mentor. Again, we do put a lot of emphasis on mentorship because this is very critical when you start a business. And that's why we offer financing and mentorship all together, and not only the financing or the mentorship. Now, how it works. If you're currently at the idea stage, you might consider Futurepreneur's Rock My Business webinar series. If you need more help regarding like with your business plan, you may want to visit the resources section we have on our website, and you want also probably to register for Rock My Business. And if you're currently looking for financing, you may want to register now online and connect with one of the business development managers. I didn't put my contact information because I am a business development manager for the Black Entrepreneur Startup Program. But if you want to connect with us, I highly recommend you to go online, fill out a form, and you will be directly connected with a business development manager, based on your region. I want to thank you, everyone, for taking your time to listen to me today. If you want to know more about Futurpreneur, you can go on our website. We also have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey, for that great presentation. Very comprehensive, you know, and I think there's a lot more information on your website. So questions for you. You say that the program, yes, unfortunately is open for people from 18 to 39, and that's, you know, come up. Yes, this is true. It is limited. But then the question is, are the webinars open? Do I have to be, you know, in that age group, or are your webinars open for everyone?
You can register for the webinars, so it's open to everyone.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
And what is the interest rate for the unsecured loans that you've talked about?
That's a great question. Currently, so it did change based on it's based on Bank of Canada, and currently the Futurpreneur loan it's around 8%, and the BDC loan it's around 9%. We have to keep in mind that it's an unsecured loan, so that's why the interest is probably a bit higher. But keep in mind also that the good thing with the financing with Futurpreneur, the first year, the entrepreneurs will pay only the interest, and then starting the second year, the entrepreneurs will start paying the interest and the principal. So we want to give room for entrepreneurs to grow their business. Also, I want to mention that with Futurpreneur, you can pay back your loan anytime. There's no penalties with that. BDC, we have a partnership with them. It will be case by case usually. That will be based on their contract. And all those information, by the way, are available on the website. I really want to emphasize on that.
Great, thank you so much. And then I'm just going to ask this question, and actually, let me just share the information that we run a lot of stories. We interview a lot of people, like for inspiration. And we've done a lot of stories about entrepreneurship, and 25% of small businesses in Canada are started by immigrants. So this is a number, and I'm going to ask you, small and medium SMEs, what percent of businesses do you think that comprise? I mean, you can put that in the chat box, but then I think it's 97%. Am I right? 97% of businesses in Canada are small and medium businesses.
That's a good question. I know that it's a big, I don't know the percentage exactly, but I know that it's a big, it's a huge percentage for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's very
Well,
encouraging,
correct.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
98% of businesses in Canada are under 100 employees, which is how they're classified as small business. So you are right on.
exactly. So people are taking risks, people are making it happen. Yeah, I can still ask you a question. Audrey, you have to leave it too, right? Is that right?
Unfortunately, I will have to.
So let's just ask you one more question. Are there, this is very, very broad question. Are the tips that you recommend to make my business plan stand out? Do graphics, visuals help? Very general question. So
That's a very good question. I would say regarding the business plan. So I had different roles at Futurpreneur, and I used to be the person reviewing the applications. What I want to say, frankly, is that the business plan is for yourself. Don't do it for just to get the financing, because we will notice it quickly. So make sure like it does make sense what you are putting in the business plan. Now you want to make sure that what you put in the business plan also matches with what we have in the cash flow projections. You shouldn't have any gaps in between. Now, regarding the business plan, that's the last tip I want to share. Make sure that you do have a marketing strategy, so marketing plan, operational plan, including the risk, all the risk. Sometimes we forget about that, but what if, for example, COVID, we didn't know that we will be in this situation. So think about the what if.
okay, great. And last question, what is the percentage of success? So do you have a number to share?
I don't have a specific number about that, but what I have to say that the people went through Futurpreneur, we do spend a lot of time on the application. We want to make sure that you are successful, so we do ask a lot of questions. So when we do ask a lot of questions, it's not like we want to make it hard. We want to make sure that you're successful. So that's why it takes time. But I would be happy to share maybe this number with you at another point, but I don't have this specific information, unfortunately.
Okay, great. And I'm just going to share my screen. This is unplanned, Laura, so just give me 1 second for a second to show you that we have two very inspiring sections on our website. One is people. So we actually have entrepreneurs. So, you know, you just, you had El Ayubzadeh on your slide there. So we actually have her story here. Somewhere here, let's just go down. Maybe it's a little earlier than this, but here, this is El Ayubzadeh, and this is her story. So go to the people and the entrepreneur section. And the other thing that I'm going to point out is money and business. There is a small business section on our website where we have a lot of great information, you know, new products, drawing up financial, and there is, you know, a podcast with an entrepreneur. There's lots of great information. So you can go through this website as well. And some of these articles are actually, you know, from BDC. I believe this was, no, this was somebody else, but BDC has, you know, written for us as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And
I want to add something. El Ayubzadeh as well went through the Futurpreneur program. So this is a very good, like, successful story she has. So yeah, do read this article.
Okay, please go ahead, find the information, you know, do a search of exactly, our keyword search function works really well. So thank you so much, Audrey. Thank you for your time. And I hope you have a successful trip.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here with you.
Okay, so we'll go to our next speaker, our final speaker at the Canadian Immigrant Web Conference Series for internationally educated professionals looking to start their own business, being held in partnership with ACCESS Employment, is Larissa Grant. We've had Larissa before, lots of enthusiasm, lots of energy, so we're so happy to have her here. She is an associated certified coach and Breaking Barriers program coordinator at Times Change Women's Employment Service. So if you have any questions, once again, please type it in the Q&A or the chat box, and we'll answer them after the presentation. So Larissa, we're thrilled to have you here. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And Ramya, Canadian Immigrant, Laura, thank you so much for having me here again. I would love to share, my experience, because that's the point of my presentation, and kind of create a bridge to what other speakers have already shared. So let me just do the screen share. Just a few pointers here. Is it now in the presenter mode?
No, not yet.
Okay, let's see. Okay, it should be now, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, when I start talking about myself, I would like to ask, our attendees. I see we have more than 70 guests here. Those that are thinking about starting their business or maybe already started, please, those of you who want, share what is your business, what's your idea? That's one question. And then the second part, what's your biggest challenge that you think you have right now? In one post, business, kind of the nature of the business, and biggest challenge. And in a couple of minutes, I will look at your response, because I would like to keep it interactive, if possible. And I would, need Laura and Ramya's help just to check if I, missed something. But I would like actually to see your response. So I really appreciate that. Okay. So a few words about my journey. Well, when I arrived in Canada 17 years ago from Ukraine, I started what I had been doing before. It's office administration. However, by kind of forces of nature, I was pulled into business. So a partner of mine, who became my partner, she came up to me and said, well, Larissa, you're learning psychology. Let's start a matchmaking agency, right? So there's so many individuals who want to start a long-term relationship. Let's help them out. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is the importance of having a team. And I will continue talking about that later, whether it's you or your partner. And I hope you will grow your team down the road. It's super important not to be on your own and rely on others, whether it's people or organizations. Extremely important, because we may have all these amazing strengths, but there are some areas that are important for business we may not have. That's why we need to have partners. So my strengths were, speaking more fluent English, and I'm kind of understanding more how what people are looking in relationships. And my partner had a car, and she was more practical, so she was responsible for operations. So that's how it started. And it was a great learning experience, because I learned a lot about people, and I understood how deep this dating matchmaking business should go to. It's not just pairing up people. It's a growth process for both parties. Both people need to improve as individuals to enjoy their dating and then long-term relationships. So again, I've learned it only by owning that business. After a few years, we added a cleaning business. So again, my partner had experience in cleaning, and that's another advice that I want to give to you. If you are new to Canada and you want to start a business and you've never done something like this before, either hire somebody to and pay them and get them to teach you how to run that business, or join an organization and learn how it works from within. That's you will see, how clients are serviced, how operations are done, what's important, because again, as newcomers, you are in a new country. There are so many new things. It's overwhelming, and you need to know your customers, and customers are as multicultural as we are, right? So we all come from all over the world. How do you make customers who are also multinational happy with your product? So that's my recommendation. learned from somebody. And my partner knew how to run the business, so we did that together for a few years. For me personally, it was interesting because I learned how to hire individuals. So I hired cleaning personnel to help private individuals, private clients, and businesses. So we had cleaning of offices, and I reached out to that formerly called Enterprise Toronto, as Catherine mentioned. Now it's a department with the City of Toronto. Again, I reached out to them to get some advice on how to expand my cleaning business. So highly recommend reaching out to these organizations. And with time, I worked, I had my business. I was super curious about why people do what they do, right? I became a recruiter, and then I switched to career consulting. So I loved helping and still love helping people with their jobs and careers, whether they want to work for a company or to run their own business. And here the part of the coach comes, why, right? I'm sure that both previous speakers agree that when you start your own business, it's a big deal, and you better know what you're doing. And that's why you need to ask those questions. You ask yourself, and when you join any of those programs, like Audrey mentioned, we will ask you questions, right? So it's all about how your life is going to be different when you start your business. Just if you say, oh, I want to change the world, that's not enough. You need to go into more specifics, right? So that's why it's extremely important to understand the whys of starting a business. What's the benefit for you, benefit for your team, and all of that. I am a consultant for organizations through a nonprofit similar to ACCESS Employment. It's called Times Change Women's Employment Service. So of course we help women to find jobs, but my role, I'm here on a contract, and I'll tell you why I'm actually an entrepreneur and being on contracts with companies. Now, I help businesses, 98% in Canada, those businesses may need our help in building teams. And as I mentioned earlier, it's extremely important to have at least a partner when you start, and then grow your team. You probably have heard about Great Resignation, right? During COVID, everybody wants to have amazing, quality of life. They want to learn something. They want to feel heard, understood. So, and that's how I help. I help businesses with everything: human resources, building teams, developing teams, making sure that you and your partner, your team, feels included and they belong to your organization. Now, of course, there are many parts of the business, and previous presenters showed you how many components are there. But my experience showed to me personally that you need to know your strengths. As I mentioned, you and your partner and your team will complement each other. You don't want to have somebody who is identical to you, who is a yes sayer. Yeah, let's go for it. That's not enough. That's not how you grow. Know your strengths. For example, stereotypically, most entrepreneurs, they're more extroverted, and they have these ideas, this romantic vision of for their services or products. Now, who will ground you? Who will be your balance? Who will run the operations? Who will write that business plan? For me personally, it was so mundane. I had to take courses, right? So to learn that. And you can check last year, October 2021, for my recording, and I shared some resources and more details of my experience. You need to know yourself. And if you are more pragmatic, if you're more into, okay, I have a plan, I follow it to the letter, then who will run ideas? Who will be creative with you? You need that balance. So partner up with somebody who will be that additional, complementary person for you. And create, after the second one, I'll go to the chat. Create a team, like I said, making sure that those individuals not only do the work that you hire them for, but you give something to them. which is a sense of accomplishment. Are they learning something in your organization? Do they feel they contribute? Do they feel heard? You know, that word diversity and inclusion is all over, right? So what does it mean? It's not only, you know, diversity in, like, you know, say our cultural backgrounds. That's what we have in common here, but it's the diversity of thought. As an entrepreneur, are you open to hear different ideas? As an entrepreneur, will you be open to a comment from your team member who will say, oh, here's a new trend coming up. Do you want to make changes in your business, or wait until it's blown up and now you have no choice, like COVID or something similar? Are you open to listening? Are you open to being flexible? These characteristics are super important for entrepreneurs. So when you join, if you choose those programs that were mentioned today, you will be learning a lot about yourself, and you will be prepared to take care of yourself, of your teams. It's like you will technically, you'll be a parent at the beginning, but then later on you will have to let it go. You will have to trust your team to do their job, and it takes time and it takes courage. So like I said, I will open the chat just to review some responses. Greatest challenge is to make people believe in my capability as a senior citizen. Okay. Now, okay, send me program helps to find customers to grow my business. There will be. So I see questions about emailing this presentation. Let's see. It's not easy to make customers. We need good strategy to find niches and how to present our products or services. Moving boxes business idea challenges. Moving boxes business idea. Okay. Challenges: clients, financing, and marketing. Thank you. Financial advisor. Bigger challenge is finding clients. Fear to fail could be on that forever. Oh yes, that's the financial mindset, right? That wealth mindset that we need to develop. Social media technicalities: Facebook, Instagram. Challenge: find pilot customer. Okay. Landscaping, company, customers, financing, clients. So seems like it's presenting yourself, right, as somebody who can be trustworthy, and finding clients. Financing, you saw there are a lot of opportunities to get money. However, and will be, I guess my next slide is, your services and your products do not sell themselves. And that's a raw idea. It's kind of on the surface. Think about who will help you sell your product, because if you're actually enjoying doing something, creating services clients, somebody has to take care of marketing, because you're competing with many other businesses, right? You need to be unique, but somebody has to do all this legwork and promote your services, promote your business, promote your products as unique. So that's a lot of work. And what may happen, and that's what happens with many entrepreneurs, is that we have that, again, romantic ideas that, oh, I have this amazing idea, this should sell, people need it. Of course, why do I need to sell it? But you know, our products do not sell themselves. You have to convince customers that this product is good for them, they need it. So again, coming back to when you have your team, make sure that somebody wears that hat, because you may get exhausted taking care of both marketing and servicing clients, just like I was. So I highly recommend thinking about that. Now, will I hire a company who will bring me like leads, for example, or will I hire a company to sell my services, or will I hire somebody, I'll get a loan and hire a marketing manager to promote my business? So it's a great investment, so you actually enjoy building your business, because if you are drawn into multiple directions, you don't see money coming in, you will get discouraged really fast. So the client's part is that who will sell to them, find that person. Over and over again, I see that happen. For example, I attended seminars by a great communications facilitator, and he does not work alone. He says, I hired a manager who books meetings, who finds customers, who brings people to seminars, and I just enjoy myself. I just enjoy sharing knowledge. So that's the lifestyle probably that you want, because many entrepreneurs say, oh, I don't want to work for somebody. I want to have that flexibility. When you do everything by yourself, there's no way you're getting that flexibility. You will be exhausted. Burnout is the big word. So the investment into your team who will market your services is number one thing. And that's something that will get you approved for all those loans that organizations will see you as serious. You know that somebody has to take care of sales. And you as an entrepreneur need to respect the aspect of sales, because unfortunately sales profession has that negative undertone. So you need to embrace both your idea and the process of selling. And the result is your happy clients. Now, protecting your business, I cannot stress enough, and I talked about that last year. I had a criminal show up to an interview with me. I nearly hired that person. Anyways, so you need to buy yourself professional liability insurance. You may be lucky and nothing happens. However, this insurance is very affordable. Technically, almost no budget you need for that, no budget. And it protects you because knowingly or unknowingly, you may do or not do something, make mistakes. So you know that in Canada, where there's a lot of legislation governing businesses, you are protected. So buy that insurance, liability insurance, and you will have peace of mind, developing your business. And leaning on resources, again, it's organizations, websites, courses, library, free. There's tons of free resources in Canada. Those of you who like reading books, read books. Whatever works for you, make sure that you don't feel alone. Super important. Take care of yourself, right? Well-being is important, because if you don't have the energy, customers will feel that. Customers will feel that somebody is stressed out, and customers buy not only the product, they buy the context around it, they buy the message. Clients buy, probably status or values around you. So what are you sending? So think about it as a Wi-Fi. Which Wi-Fi are you sending out there to your customers? Are you having fun being an entrepreneur, or you're stressed out? Do you know yourself? You know what you're selling? You know the value to customers? Or you're juggling hundreds of hats, and you forgot what the original business idea was, right? So I know I'm simplifying that, but keep thinking about that. Keep thinking about that for sure. And like I said, that's my core message to you. When we finish today, who will sell and promote your product or service? As I mentioned, I am on a contract with an organization, and it's super, it has super longevity. As you see on the picture, black and white picture of 1974, and now Zoom. See how much things change, and your business should be flexible to address these changes as well. And I am in charge of providing free consultation, again, across our conversations today, our services are free. Developing your team, assessment and first steps, inclusive recruitment, retaining your employees, advancing them. And the same goes for your customers. They will check out, are you an inclusive employer? Your vendors will check out on you. Because many customers, they have a choice from whom to buy services. They want to know that you're one of those awesome organizations, awesome entrepreneurs that has that sense of inclusion and belonging, because it's Canada. So some of the resources were mentioned today. Business Development Bank, as you saw, they have toolkits, specific programs for women entrepreneurs, newcomer entrepreneurs. Now, Toronto Mars Development District, so that's for STEM, for technology, math, sciences, businesses and startups. And in the West Coast, just one of the examples, a small business incubator accelerator program. And let's stay in contact. Here's my information. My email address is breakingbarriers@timeschange.org. And please connect with me on LinkedIn. If you don't have any questions now, later on, you can reach out to me. So it's linkedin.com/IN/Larissa Grant. So I see there's, I see chat, there's more. Name of the insurance, professional liability insurance. Google that. There are plenty of brokerages that can do that. IT background, senior developer. Okay, so it's someone who wants to be a developer, so that's a profession. Okay, so thank you for posting my email. Now, I'm looking for IT collaboration. Okay, so guys, you have my email address. Please email me, because I'm not sure if I will have access to the chat. So you have my email address. So thank you, and thank you for sharing about your business idea and the challenges. You're not alone. I must say that starting and growing business is a reward and a growth opportunity, right? We all talk about growing. Nothing forces you to grow like developing a business, because it's about you. It's about taking care of your team, of your customers, growing, and then you become visible. And once you have one happy customer, you can use that as testimonial. Just like Audrey showed a testimonial of happy entrepreneurs, business individuals. Use social media, be on TV, promote yourself. If you have happy customers, let everybody know. And that's very often it's free advertisement. So again, use resources, but remember, create a plan who is going to sell your service.
Great,
Okay,
Larissa.
thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Great information, great advice. Thank you. So there's a question. Do you offer services outside Toronto?
Yes. In Ontario, yes, our program covers. Now, if you are outside of Ontario, please send me a message, because our program is federally funded, so we may be able to help you as well. So just contact us.
Okay, so there's a question. I'm a senior citizen. What is your advice for me? I think they're saying that it's hard for them to, I'm trying to find the exact words. So the question was, I'm a senior citizen, and yes, my greatest challenge is to make people believe in my capability because I'm a senior citizen.
Well, what I'm going to say now is going to be, again, very direct, is that first you need to believe in yourself, because even the words you use is that a senior citizen, age doesn't matter. Think about, cosmetic company Mary Kay. If I'm not wrong here, she started her business way after 50, I believe. There are lots of examples of individuals starting their businesses way after retirement. So I don't believe in it. It's an internal roadblock. I'm a senior citizen. So what? You're bringing the wealth of experience throughout, wherever you worked, or your life experience. You have so much wisdom and information to offer. So that's a benefit, not a negative thing. So that's fantastic. So if you first for yourself turn it around, say, okay, throughout my life, what have I gathered? What in terms of my strengths, my values as a person, what do I give? Kindness, knowledge, community, whatever, because there are a million things you can offer, plus something professional if you're bringing some kind of professional skills, and package it out as a product. So I see it as a benefit. So don't worry about that, but first start thinking, why am I thinking about myself as a senior citizen as something negative? So that's, again, like I said, entrepreneurship is a growth opportunity, and it starts with you. So I encourage you, feel free to reach out to me as a coach, a certified coach. We can talk about that. I can help you get rid of those internal blocks and refer you further. But I see it as a strength, not as something negative. So just toss it.
I love your response, because yes, what can you use to your advantage? Your experience, your time. Yeah, it's all about that, right? Everything that you do starts with confidence in yourself. So this is a specific question. I'm really interested in starting a hair salon, but my husband says there's too much competition in our community. Do you have any suggestions to tell if there is room for another business in the community?
There's always room. If you want to service your customers, it's all about, how you position that. For example, is that, some hair salons maybe specialize on doing only blonde hair, or only dark hair, only curly hair. So you may be a go-to place for something unique. Some salons, promote themselves as, we have, say maybe youth, right? Only youth servicing others. So it can be a signature feature, right? It's something kind of more on the social enterprise side of things. It's all about how you market it. Or maybe you offer flexibility, saying no matter if you need hair done in the morning and you're right, like you have literally an hour, I am flexible. So your feature may be just give me a call, come over and I'll help you out. So that flexibility means that for busy professionals, no matter how much, you don't have to book an appointment with me, I'll take care of you. So think about it, analyze your life, and again, partner up with somebody who knows sales. Talk to other people who owned salons before, maybe not in your area, so there's no competition, maybe outside, like maybe say if you're in Etobicoke, talk to someone in Scarborough and vice versa, but learn from them and attend these programs. But it's all about not stopping competition. Like think about it, Tim Hortons, Starbucks on every corner, do they worry about that? No. There's always a customer, right? So don't worry about that. If you are a brand, if people like what you do, and now I see hair salon professionals use social media. When you make nice hairdo for somebody, right away post it on social media. Oh my gosh,
Instagram. Oh my God.
of course.
Yes.
And it's free, it's the platform. So for sure use that and let people reach out to you. Now I cannot stress enough the help of people that know you, your friends, family, former co-workers or current co-workers. So organize, you can say, well, if there are some now post-COVID, people are starting to get together again in person. Guess what? If there is a bachelorette party, you can offer your services, making fun hairdos in 10 minutes for all of them, right? So something like that. You may be like a corporate entertaining hairdresser, like the kind of making people feel good, like in 10 minutes, if that's your skill. For example, you come in, there are 10, 15 people and you do their hair. Or it can be, for example, like I said, reach out to your to people and ask them, what is the challenge? And that's something kind of like market research. What is the challenge that you have with hairdressers, right? So if there was no challenge, otherwise everybody would be walking around in the streets with perfect hairdos, but we don't. So what's the problem, right? Is it the hair products? Is it the time? Is it that people don't, cannot see us and give us the right shape? So when you hear that feedback, what do customers need from a great hairdresser? Use that as a learning point and say, oh, I can fix that. There's a classic phrase: find a pain point or a point of huge pain, and then you will solve $1 million problem. So get feedback from potential clients. Say, what would you like? What can make you, care about your hair every day? I'm here for you. So something like that.
Right.
Reach out to potential customers for feedback.
Mhm. So I'm going to ask you one last question. Perhaps you could answer in a minute or two. The question is, I want to start a business. I'm Canadian, but my partner is American. So are there rules, and is there some resource they can look up?
Well, it depends where you pay taxes, right? If you're Canadian and live in Canada and you pay taxes here, there's no problem. If you want to partner up with your husband and have business both in Canada and US, you can make a partnership, and your husband can take care of partnership in the US. Again,
Sorry. I think the question is more, I want to partner with someone who is an American citizen. I am a Canadian citizen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, partner up. Got it. So I would say I don't have the exact answer, unfortunately, because it's legislation. But I would say reach out to the American Chamber of Commerce, wherever you are, so Ontario or another province. They are great experts on, business between Canada and the US, and they will give you the answer about, because I understand that's the legal question. So they are the best experts.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. And, we kept having these questions saying, I have to go, my lunch break is over. So we actually, I think half our participants had to leave. But the great thing is, you can come back. This is being emailed, the link to all the registered participants, and it is posted on Facebook. So it's okay if you had to leave, even if you attended the first session, you can come back. You can always come back and hear the second and the third presentation. So thank you so much for everyone for attending this web conference series that is in partnership with ACCESS Employment. And special thanks to our good friends, Catherine, Audrey, and Larissa, for joining us today and sharing so much valuable information, their skills and their personal experiences. And making time for us. So thank you. So once again, if you missed anything, any final words to say, Catherine? You just came on the screen. So was it just to say bye, or do you want to say something?
Waving, just waving
Okay,
goodbye.
good.
Thank you, Ramya.
Okay, good. So if you missed anything, this is being posted. And if you have questions, write directly to the speakers or send us an email at info@canadianimmigrant.ca and we'll forward this on. So our next web conference is on the 13th of October, and it is on the subject of hiring trends and interview preparation. So thank you for all the great information to our speakers, and thank you to our good friends who joined this web conference. Okay, have a good day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.